You're listening to the SITREP Podcast, your home for everything related to historical wargaming. When one man picked up a weapon and battled another, we're going to talk about it. We might even play the battle ourselves, or we just might make fun of each other, but we are entertaining. And now, joining us from merry old England is Gaz, our resident painter, and Ralph, our graphic artist. And of course, on the good old American side, we have our historical guru, Big Jim Oriskany from sunny Florida. And here in the Midwest, representing the nation's people, dun, 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 is Marty and G. And now, sit back, get ready, and let's battle.
Hey everybody, this is G, and you are listening to the SITREP Podcast. We're coming back to you for our third episode of Season 5. We are celebrating Independence Day here in the grand old US of A as the time of the airing of this one, or actually it'll be after it.
Yes.
But we won our freedom from that oppressive empire known as England. Hi, Gaz. Hi, Ralph. How are you over there in England today?
Yeah.
I'm just taking my red coat off.
The colonists are getting uppity.
And of course,
Queen called. She wants our country back.
she can have it. Right now, it's all yours.
We might be able to use a little bit of that right now.
But that's all the politics we're going to be talking about today. Of course, joining us from sunny Florida, our historical guru, Big Jim Oriskany. Jim, how are you doing today?
Not too bad.
Excellent. And, of course, joining us, as always, is Marty.
Hello, all.
And this is G, obviously. And then our special guest today is my eldest son, Jesse.
How you doing today?
He is a veteran of the 101st Airborne, Afghanistan campaign. And he's a gamer himself. And so we're all going to be here today talking about whatever happens to come across the plate. So let's get started. Gaz, we saw that you had a couple of your airings of your videos, more chat about what you think you're going to be doing or doing. What do you think? What's on the plate?
So this weekend I've painted up a Viking shield maiden. It's what looks to be a Lagertha model from the show Viking.
Nice.
So I've been piecing together and learning a lot of video, audio this weekend, which is all new to me. I've done an initial one, which you guys have seen, which came out quite cool. And I've just finished doing the short draft of the second one. So just the first segment, and looking forward to running that by you guys as well now that it's a bit more polished. And then hopefully just bundle it all together and have it out for Tuesday. With the coming weekend being some holiday of a type in certain countries. I know it's a holiday here because it's when COVID comes down, so we're gaining our independence that day. And we're going to be able to go out again fully, nice. And the bars should open and the restaurants. So I think we're just trying to pinch your holiday or add our own on the same day, it seems.
Nice.
But with that all happening, I'm looking possibly to try and get Sergeant SITREP done, filmed in the same format as Lagertha for a release on Saturday as a special release. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it or not yet, but if I can, I will.
Nice. Very nice.
Is that Lagertha or is that shield made in plastic or metal, guys?
She's metal.
Is it the hassle-free one?
Weapon. I'm not actually sure. It's a friend's selection of Vikings. I've got her and a Ragnar Lothbrok model.
Yeah. So
those
I think
are
those
the
ones are there. Yeah, they're the hassle-free ones because hassle-free did a collection of the main characters. They did Lagertha, Ragnar, and all the others. You can buy them in a bundle, and they've got two sets. They've got like the standard static pose, like a standard sort of, shall we say, a heroic pose, and then they did a set with action poses. And they did them both in metal and resin.
Okay, I've got the action pose in it, must seem, because she's carrying a shield and an axe, and she's looking like she's in the middle of educating somebody.
Nice.
As she did in the show.
Yeah, she was probably the best character in that show. I have to say, the test video you sent us the other day, for the new format was incredible.
Awesome, yes.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that works out. So,
cheers, guys. Thank you. So yeah, it's gonna, like I say, I've already got the first sort of section of it. As Jim pointed out to me, it'll take 10 times as long as the video footage will. At this stage, that's a massive underestimate.
My estimate was 1 hour. The industry standard is 1 hour of work for 1 minute of video. So it's a lot.
Yeah, that might be about right, actually, then, Jim. I've got about 3 hours sunk in it up to yet, and I've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right, when have we started applying standards to what it is we're doing here, gentlemen?
Ever since we started.
They're just really low.
A very low bar.
I don't know. I think we have drastically improved since the beginning.
Yes, for sure.
So and it's a growing thing. So yeah,
I kid.
So yeah, I can't wait to see the final product there, Gaz.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I need to find a better camera to do a final turntable sort of shot, because the two that I have, their focus is too sensitive, and as it rotates, it changes just the lighting and the.
Are you using autofocus or manual?
I've tried both.
Okay.
And neither really work.
Okay.
So
I was going to say,
something I'm looking into.
Yeah, really, you need to go for anything that's moving. You have to go to manual focus with your depth of field, and then, because otherwise it's going to hunt. So that's the problem. Yeah. And again, it depends on your camera too. So we might have 1 or 2 cameras around here. We might be able to send you one.
Maybe.
So we can send you a Panasonic or something. A GH1 or something. We can send you. You can use that.
That'd be cool.
So, that's awesome. Yeah, that's turning out really good. And everybody out there, if you follow us on any of our channels or social media, you will have seen all updated graphics. Ralph has been just chugging away on the graphics, and they're looking really good.
Yes.
Really good.
Very nice.
So, Ralph has been churning out some good graphics and, working on some new intros and things like that. So, we're definitely cooking along, so I know that's been going really well. Yep. And so, any other projects, Ralph, as far as graphic work you think you're working on?
Nothing really at the moment. It was just really bringing our graphics up to a more, shall we say, more up-to-date standard with what we're covering. So I did another graphic for Gaz, which included a Napoleonic image. Nice. So our current images for all of the main stuff is a knight and a modern soldier. I thought that equates really well. It's sort of, technically the modern Spec Ops or Marine or whatever is the modern version of a knight. So I thought having an ancient sort of Crusade style knight with it sort of had that nice balance between the two pictures, just blurred together with some dice. And then Gaz wanted a little tweak for his. So at the on Gaz's image, which people will see, is there's a picture of a brew, of course. You've got to have that.
That's tea for us Americans.
I was going to say, I thought it was a picture of tea.
This is true.
It's a coffee. It's a cup with something hot in it.
Okay.
Anything goes. Anything goes when you need a brew.
Exactly. And on the opposite side, I found a royalty free image of some Marian actors from doing Napoleonic.
Yeah.
And so that sort of blends in. So it's just different.
Nice.
And they just happen to be flying a different red, white, and blue.
Yeah, they just happen to be flying a
Well, yeah, that's why they're ancient.
So. I didn't even think about that when I saw the image. It was like, yeah.
Well,
I thought it was deliberate.
All right. Well, hey, that's fine. So moving over.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Nothing else other than the I have the graphics done and I've sent them to you, but I'll send them through again for your character sheets for 13 days, 13 hours.
Nice. Yep. Perfect, because that's what I think we'll work on the next Thursday night show that I do. So, yeah. I think we'll do all the character creation, and then we'll start. Marty and I are going to do some planning today on the compound and get our materials list together, and then
yeah, we got to start building some stuff.
Yeah, right. It's only September that we got to have this done by. So, moving outside of that, Jim, what's the big update from our wargaming guru there?
13 hours and 13 days. We did a couple shows on that.
Yep.
Some YouTube graphics for Gaz, and the transit game is basically done and ready to go.
Okay. Should we do an actual play test?
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just saying, do you think are we at a point where we can do a play test before we do a quote unquote the real game for the record?
Well, the results are on our YouTube feed, or actually all our streams actually.
Yeah.
Well, we had a 2-hour stream a week ago where we went over the map, the rules, some of the last pieces. I've got a few more pieces to design and put in there, and I've got some tweaks to the rules. Right now, I don't have anything for vehicle damage. I'm going to have to work on that a little bit.
Okay.
Now, the combat system is going to be really stupid simple. It has to be, because I don't think we want to put that much work into this. We got too much other stuff to do on 13 hours, 13 days.
Uh-huh.
And as far as the game mechanics for the transit game go, I think the the unusual part of that is going to be that whole flexible militia mechanic. I think we're going to have a little bit of work ahead of us to keep track of ambivalent militia, friendly militia, like the February 17th guys, and hostile militia, and how militia units are actively switching between all three states.
Okay.
Combine that with civilians who are just out there, getting in the way. That's 4 groups of people that are malleable and switching between each of their 4 states. On top of that, you've got the GRS. So yeah, there's going to be a lot going on with that. There are going to be factors that the players can influence, if not control, definitely influence. So it's not just things that the person running the game is going to handle. It's going to be part of the player's load as well. The insurgent player is going to want to keep things as agitated as possible. That affects his reinforcements turn to turn. And the GRS player is going to want to keep things as calm and as cool as he possibly can. And that's going to affect, enemy, reinforcements, maybe even affect his reinforcements. If the streets are friendlier, it's more Feb 17 guys that are coming out. If the streets are not as friendly, that's going to be more hostile or ambivalent or looters or whatever coming out. So, not to overload the players, this is just supposed to be a mini game. It's not supposed to be the main game. That's you guys up there. We're going to keep the combat stuff pretty simple. Personal combat and close combat, or I should say firearms combat versus people, and close melee combat is pretty much handled. The only thing I don't really have anything for is things like roadblocks and vehicles and some of that stuff. If we're going sort of by the movie, we're going to want to have the GRS players bail out of the car at least once.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to have that built into the game like a script event, but that means we have to either slow down, stop, or damage the vehicles, or at least provide the insurgent player with that opportunity. Yeah. So I'm still working on a few things between other projects or whatever.
Okay.
But that's really the only thing. We should be ready for a play test in 2 to 3 weeks.
Excellent.
Tops.
Well, you just give us the word, and we will make it happen. So I'm looking forward to it. So I am ready.
Yes.
We got to, show those Libyans who, who's the better fighter.
I mean, we've been doing that for a while, but
pretty
sure we're not, going 1983 on them and dropping bombs on anybody with this one.
Yeah. So that Libyan leader, warlord, if we'll call him, Gaddafi. Was that his name? Gaddafi. We got to show him who's boss.
Yeah.
So.
What? Nothing, Gaz? Nothing?
No word, Gaz? Gaz?
No. I'll just show up on the day and educate you.
Oh!
I don't need to talk smack. Not every week, anyway.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Any other projects you're working on, Jim, outside of that? Maybe delving into some research or something for future gameplay?
That's pretty much it.
That's it. Okay. So
SITREP is most of my hobby, and is the truth of it.
So last time I looked as an update, we still, as of the time of recording, we still have, today's the last day, isn't it? For the poll. I think Pirates is still leading.
Yes.
So we may be doing some kind of Pirates. Now, you know, I was doing, after our last episode, I was doing some just impromptu research. And, you know, it's not just Pirates. You could have the British versus the Spanish in some, you know, controlling some of the Caribbean Sea territory, if you will, you know. So, you know, it could be some British Navy versus the Spanish Navy or the French Navy or whatever.
Could be the Dutch, yeah.
Yeah. So we could do a little bit of land grab or something, and so there's all kinds of possibilities there. So that's pretty interesting. I'm really anxious. I mean, I'm still hoping for the Old West, but you know, Pirates, that is definitely something outside my wheelhouse. But you know, it'd be worth a while to take a look at.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the more I look at it, the more cool stuff is out there as far as figures and terrain, and you know, the game systems available. I mean, the more I look, the more I find.
Yeah.
Like, wow, okay, so I might have to make a choice here.
So yeah.
Well, at least you won't have to do as much work on the table either, because with a blue mat, you've covered probably at least a third of it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you'll have the Caribbean Sea or wherever we decide to, you know. We'll have to refer to our historical guy for guidance on, you know, what he thinks is the best as far as land-sea battles, if you will.
King William's War.
Okay.
If you want to get serious about it, we're still talking about pirates, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's 1691. I'll have to look it up. But
Okay.
Something around there is a good starting point.
Okay. So I was thinking about this. I know other people have done a pirates table with like cliff sides, which is fine. But if you've been to the Caribbean, a lot of it's not cliffside unless you're far southeastern Indies, you know, down by Martinique and those areas where it's more mountainous. But a lot of the stuff in central and the northern Caribbean is pretty flat and sandy.
I was going to say, it's sand and shoals. And
yeah, so I was looking at that and I'm like, that's an easy thing to do. You know, we can just do some foam, sand, get some white sand. You know, I can go to the aquarium store and get white sand, right? And we can white sand that baby and make it look good. And
see, I'm thinking that, you know, there's no sense in making it easy when we can make it really hard.
Right.
So we ought to put in all the coral reefs and whatnot.
Resin.
And yeah. You know, like 2 inches of resin over it all, and then with the land masses coming out of the resin.
Nice. I'm in. All right. We've already got a plan. So we're going to elevate this game to the next level. All right. So
because it's a bunch of stuff I've never done, and it's my excuse to mess up, this board instead of my own.
You know, we can get coral reef stuff from the aquarium stores, or 3D print it.
Yes. To both.
So here we go.
The boat you could 3D print, or you could
get
printable
an MDF scenery
board. Stick the MDF board.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you're going to pour the resin in.
I think honestly, it's going to be. I see a shipwreck.
Yes.
On a shoal somewhere. You know, of course, we're going to have Jim give us input on, you know, to make it realistic.
Yeah, historically
accurate. You know, this is a combined team. Jim is our check ride. You know, he's the one that goes, that's not right, or you know. So he is that input. He's that safety valve. So
why do you guys got to make me sound like that?
Why, like what? You're our source.
Somebody has to rein us in, or else, you know, they'll end up being spaceships in there. And...
there'll be Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, for sure.
So
well, you know, that's a historical character. He's real life.
Is he really?
No, I'm kidding.
You almost had me.
Epic fail.
So I can't put the black pearl in there.
At printable scenery.
Yeah.
They've got a collection of STLs that you can purchase for a galleon, a fluke.
I don't know if I backed that one. I'm going to have to look on my
skiff on there as well.
Yeah, I have to look on my catalog because I've backed quite a few of their projects and see if I backed the one with the Caribbean, because they have buildings and the ships and everything like that. So I'll have to look at that. But yeah, I'm seeing a 4x4 table with some, or is it gonna be a 6x4? I mean, if it's gonna be.
Well, I guess we kind of need to think about what the game system is.
Because if we're doing ships in 28 mil,
yeah,
it's going to be a big
better.
table, and that's a lot of resin.
I mean,
that's going to be a
heavy
ship
table.
at
28 mil, the galleon is your 4x4 table. So
yeah, right.
You just kind of.
It's not true. It's only like
pirate
3
ships,
feet long.
I mean,
well,
talk to the guys from Firelock Studios. The ships are really small. I mean, a bark is a very large pirate ship. So,
yeah.
you know.
Or do we do the land battles or a boarding thing in 28 mil and do a sea battle? There wasn't a lot of actual sea battles, was there, Jim? Or was
no.
there?
The land battles are actually a lot more common. The guys to talk to about that, obviously, are Firelock Games.
Yeah.
Mike, I've interviewed a couple times at Historicon and on Skype or whatever. He's those guys really do know their business. They take that stuff really seriously. So yeah, we're gonna have to either get reach out or get them on the show one of these days or something like that if we're serious about getting into pirates. They do actually look at it in a more serious light, and they definitely do know their material.
Yeah, I've heard a few interviews with him, and yeah, like you said, Mike is super smart on that stuff. He has got it down.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do that. So, like I said, at the last peak of the poll, Pirates was still leading. So, sorry. I think there was only a couple votes for the feudal Japan at this point. So, sorry, Ralph. No ninjas right now.
Yet.
Yet.
No, I'm just looking here on the printable scenery stuff, and the Galleon 3D print is very nice. It actually comes with 26 cannon ports, 4 masts,
Jeez.
a bunch of different figureheads and stuff like that for the 3D print. It comes in sections as well, so you're printing each section.
You'd have to.
It's definitely worth having a look. If you haven't backed it, Jay, it might be worth looking at their stuff because they've got a whole collection of ships and they've got port docks and all sorts.
Yeah, the only problem with those kind of ships is the rigging, because I'd have to do the rigging to make it look right. You know, instead of just slapping on a sail, you'd have to have the rigging.
Instructions on there to do the rigging.
But have you ever done rigging on one of those models? I did one of the USS Constitution model.
I built that exact same model.
Was that a Revell or Monogram? I think it was.
Well, I apologize. I don't know if it was the same model, but I've built that ship.
Yeah.
USS Constitution.
So, and of course, doing all the rigging.
That's basically a heavy frigate.
Yeah.
So smaller than any pirate ship smaller than any galleon is likely to be. Bigger than any pirate ship is actually to be. Pirate ships are not galleons.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it still looks generally the same. Yes, it's wood, it's got sails, but I mean, oh my God, you talk about the technology leap. You can't have Constitution in any kind of a pirate game.
No,
it's like 150 years later,
yeah.
And it might look broadly similar, but that's just us looking at it from our 21st century perspective.
Right.
But yeah, the rigging on any kind of a ship like that, it's fun if that's what you're into. But holy hell, are you going to be at it for a while?
Yeah.
Well, and
I think the average British warship at Trafalgar, I can't remember the actual number. Maybe Gas can correct me on this. I think it had something like 7 miles or 30 miles of rigging. If you actually took all the rope off of one of those basic ships of the line and stretched it out end to end, I can't remember the exact number.
Well, it's a lot. It is a lot. I've actually had a sergeant's mess function on HMS Victory.
Oh God.
Which was epic, and then you go through. They take down all the ropes, so you can go to the areas of the ship that you can't normally go to on the visits. So you see the uniform. You know, he's upset in the captain's bay, and you can pay more to be in different parts of the ship for the meal. So we were sort of in what would be the crew area. So you bang your head on the ceiling if you get up too fast. Whereas if you can have it in the captain's cabin with a higher level of service. So probably officers and people like that would do that.
Right.
But the really interesting thing is just walking around the ship, and because it's not open for the public when you're having your meal, you get to go down, and we were in the actual ammo area where they used to put copper jacketing in to help protect the ammo, and it was really interesting, really good.
Yeah, well, I think with the models, one of the things that you got to consider with the rigging is you may not want to fully rig it, you may want just a representation of it because you got to get models on there and be able to move them.
Yeah.
So you may not want to go full bore on that. Just so you have access to the deck and being able to move stuff.
I suppose it depends as well on whether if you are doing some ship-to-ship engagements, are you then looking at using Black Sea to do the ship-to-ship engagements, and then for the boarding actions using 28 mil?
If you want to do a second ago, Gianna was talking about maybe we do the actual ship-to-ship games in one game or scale, and then you do the actual boarding or land. The one that I would probably suggest for the larger scale actual sea combat game, or the chase, it's going to be a chase game if you're a pirate and you want to be like even semi-historical.
Oh, that's a good idea, Jim. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be Oak and Iron. That's I think Ricky's other big system.
Yeah.
That's if you're doing it, personally, like at a table. If the trend on the poll continues, I'll sort of switch gears. I've mentioned before, I'll get Letters of Mark going for virtual play.
Nice.
For our Sundays that I guess we're still doing. For our Sunday gaming streams or whatever. That way people can play, with members of the community or whatever each Sunday. And those would be my two suggestions. Again, I don't know enough about these gaming systems, but those would be my suggestions for the big game. And then for the actual skirmish game that you do, like when the two ships are basically already next to each other, you build two ships or a ship and a dock, or that's when you get into your Blood and Plunder stuff.
Yeah.
And whatever system you guys want to use for that. I mean, obviously Blood and Plunder. I just called it Blood and Plunder stuff. So Blood and Plunder would be my first choice. But again, I don't know what else is out there.
Yeah, no, like I said, it makes sense. And the idea of doing a sea chase, trying to capture a ship to board it and all that sounds really good. Yeah. And, no, that's a great suggestion.
It's not just that, we know them personally or whatever, but the reason I would stick with, Mike and, the guys down in Miami as far as, their pirate games, if that's where we go, is not only, are they great guys, not only do they make great miniatures and a great game system, but part of their part of their deal as far as how they deal with pirates is there's no Lost Dutchman, there's no Jack Sparrow, there's no it's all they approach it from a very, very historical perspective, which I think fits with our mandate and what we try to present here on SITREP.
Yeah. So that's awesome. It's some already great ideas cooking around. So, and that'll be nice if we can actually put some tables together because...
Doesn't Blood and Plunder have a 2-player box available?
Well, I don't know if they do I haven't been on their site in a while. So at one point, I didn't think they had a 2-player starter set. I thought you had to buy each faction separately, but maybe they do now because we've talked
a 2-player set available.
Because we've talked to several companies in the past that never offered a quote unquote starter set, and we're like, if you want to get people into playing your game, you really need to have a starter set. Something that people can pick up, have starter armies or factions and some terrain. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, and get them into playing the game instead of here you need to buy this, you need to buy this, you need to buy this.
I am 99% sure that Blood and Plunder has
I'm gonna have to.
now.
We'll reach out to them and then. I'll have to do some research. So I wanted to take a quick change of gears. Jim, I've been following your conversation over on OTT, the SITREP forum over there, and I saw you were talking to a couple people about events and about them following us because I guess some people aren't able to get on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, apparently one of our viewers heard our last week podcast and sort of reawakened that thread. So I was just trying to keep in touch with him.
Yeah.
So the question is, and I've also gotten questions on OTT Discord, where I've started promoting our channel a little bit. We've seen a pretty big bump in subscriptions just in the last week or so.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing from people on a couple of different channels, Discord, OTT, YouTube, or whatever. And also, those three. And it's been, they're definitely interested in this February event, and they're looking about how they either make a reservation. I don't know if we formalized it to this extent yet, so I haven't really known what to say. So I said I would ask.
Yeah, I haven't
talking about
formalized.
reservations or talking about.
I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't mean to cut you off. As far as formalizing it, my plan is to have it done by July 1st. So this will obviously air after July 1st, but just keep watching. I'll make sure Jim is updating the Discord servers and stuff on his, that he's active in, and we'll handle the Facebook pages. But I'm looking probably right now, it's looking like $200 per person. That's a rough guesstimate for the whole weekend. That's food and hotel. So,
yeah, now, active on Discord. I joined the OTT Discord, I think, on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really trying to kind of catch up there. SITREP does have its own Discord.
Yep.
It's starting out, and it's not terribly huge yet, but we are trying to start to grow it a little bit. There is a oh Lord. Yeah, there's an old HK Ops channel on there. There's a Dark Star channel on there. There's a general. Yeah, there's a lot going. Well, there's a lot of channels set up over there on our SITREP Discord channel. I have to figure out how to send people invites or whatever to get more people active in there. But I'm also trying to get us going on the OTT Discord, which is so active that I have to turn off the notifications because my computer is pinging me with noise like every 6 seconds. So we've gotten a little bit of traction on there. We have some of our old Ops Center episodes up on their Firehouse channel. We've got some stuff on the House of Three Truths, which is like their big rules and tactics channel for people who really get into that, and so on and so forth. But that's what people have been asking me is how they get on the list, so to speak, as far as this event goes, and who do they reach out to about that.
Nice. All right, so I'll get that worked out. I have to admit, I am just terrible about Discord because I really don't know how to use it yet.
I'm a neophyte. I'm like, I had to ask, they have this radio channel going. I had to ask, how do I turn on the radio? I mean, I'm clueless on Discord. I'm a baby. Be patient. I'll get there eventually.
You're right.
So Jesse just signaled to me and said he knows how to do Discord. So
it's a free Skype. Pretty much, it's what we use for gaming.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff now. The last few months, they've added you can actually stream your videos or your games that you're playing. You can actually stream to people in the same channel as you. So
on Discord, you can stream?
On Discord, so you can have...
Yeah, SITREP has had a Discord for 6 months.
Well, I know, but I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, so when you go into
I don't know
I thought it was a communications... I didn't know it was a streaming platform as well.
It just started that, so within the last few months...
If you have access, and if you're the administrator of the channel, which obviously we are for SITREP.
Yeah.
It's one of the COVID
I've never really tried it. When we moved away from some of our other platforms that weren't working out for us for our Sunday games, we've mostly moved over to Skype now, but we're also thinking about doing Discord.
Oh.
It's really any kind of screen sharing thing. Hell, Google has a screen sharing software now. It's that's kind of not a big deal. What we were looking for our Sunday games was screen sharing and keyboard and mouse control.
Yeah.
Which we had a solution for, and it was working technically, but the latency was so high that people were having difficulty, moving their pieces around in real time. So we kind of went away from it. But fundamentally, it works. It's just there's a little bit of too much latency issue, and you're always at the mercy of the other person's internet. And it's fine for a private stream, but you try to do that on an actual production stream, for content, and it just winds up being embarrassing. So we kind of stepped back from that. But we're always on the lookout for new options.
There's an interesting one for Discord as well, especially for gaming, is there is a dice roll app bot that you can plug into Discord, and you just put in the command, say roll space 2d6 plus, say, 3d10 as an example, and it rolls the dice and it tells you what was rolled. So for role-playing, it's perfect.
So you could technically do HK Ops through Discord?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
wow.
And have people just, when they want to roll dice, roll, say, 10d, 10.
I guess I'm going to have to look into it.
Yeah, well, and one of the things that that has been happening since probably April is, with all these conventions that have been canceled, a lot of them, or if it's not the convention itself, people that wanted to go to the convention had made up their own and were hosting it on Discord virtually.
Oh.
And all sorts of streaming channels going on simultaneously off that one Discord server. So you could, have somebody painting, somebody playing, somebody being live interviewed, all at the same time. You just go to whatever room it is that is hosting that on that server, and you can watch them talking to somebody, and then pop out and go watch somebody paint, whatever.
Huh. All right. Well, I learned something new. So
I don't know how to do any of that. I just lurk on other people's
Well,
stuff.
I guess we got some...
That's kind of where I am in Discord. I know everything that's out there. Just please don't ask me to actually do it.
Right?
Well, we've got some learning to do. All right. Because, we have these platforms. We better just figure it out and utilize them. But, getting back to the main topic of the gaming weekend, I did see the comments from one gentleman who wants to do Ultra Moderns, and he said he would bring in some GHQ or Team Yankee stuff, and he'd like to host that table. And I'm like, okay,
done.
Oops, sorry. So yeah, it's exciting to see people excited about the gaming weekend. So
he wants to host a table.
Well, that's what he said. He said he would run the modern table.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's going to be. I mean, we probably talked about this a lot last week, but that's going to be one of our biggest problems. Is that we're only going to have like maybe 4 of us there, maybe 5, as far as like SITREP team members, and we have 8 tables. So I know it's going to be a lot of work for us. I mean, I'm definitely ready for that, but I mean, I can't run 2 tables at once. Well, and I'm not sure anyone else could realistically run 2 tables at once.
But I think
I was sort of counting on the fact that not all 8 tables are going to be active at the same time.
Right.
Which was a little pessimistic, and it turns out to be, at least so far, incorrect, which I'm happy to say. So, yeah, if anyone else can run a table, hell yeah, that's going to be a huge a huge help.
And I don't think they have to. They don't have to run the table the entire game session. It might be just here's an introduction. We'll do fast access, rule cards or something, and
demo game style.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm assuming some of these people will come and know how to play these games too. So it's just a matter of
Well, a lot of them have to bring their own armies, so they're going to know their own rule sets.
So what we don't supply, obviously. So I don't know. I mean, again, we're still in the infancy of this whole project. But it's nice to see excitement building already.
That's right, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah. Do you know it's a parking lot now?
Name. Yeah.
It's actually just like an empty field.
Yeah, where the cartridge company was.
Yeah. That's a shame. But, you can still make a pilgrimage there. And where Dillinger shot,
Yeah, well, out in front of the bar grab, they still have the blast crack in the sidewalk.
Yeah, so. Anyways, but yeah. So if you guys are really looking forward to this gaming weekend, again, it's February 19th through the 21st of February 2021. And right now I said rough estimate, we're looking at roughly $200 for the weekend. That should be your hotel. That's double occupancy, obviously. And food and drink. So, we'll supply food and drink while you're here gaming. And then, you're on your own if you decide to go somewhere. But while you're in the gaming facility, it'll be there. And like I said, we're going to be reaching out to some companies as well once we get the final details hammered down and see if we can get some attendee prizes, if you will.
Yeah.
And some company representation.
Little support, advertising, community engagement for them as well as us.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good to hear that, that there's excitement building for it, and especially coming from OTT. So that's awesome. I'm really excited about that idea. All right. So, Ralph, news. Bring us in. We got news?
It's been very quiet again, but I think that's partly due to the virus. Spectre have opened up a little part of their store.
Yes.
No load of the stuff have probably already gone by the time this is going up, but they started putting some small sets out. So it was the Dev Grew set, which is the seals plus the dog.
Oh, that's back?
Which is a really nice starter set.
Yep.
There were 6 minis, plus they did the starter set, plus they did some other stuff as well.
Nice.
So Spectre put that out this past week, but it's probably all gone by now. But it's nice to see them actually starting to get stuff into the
Well, and they're shipping all their back-ordered stuff, so
that's good.
That's making people happy, I'm sure.
Because you had a conversation with them, didn't you, Marty, with Spectre? You spoke to them, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I traded some emails back and forth with Jess, and we look forward to Jess and Steve joining us on the show here sometime in the not-too-distant future. We've got to work out the details for that. But, yeah, they're back in the office. They're doing their thing. Their caster is casting away, and they are shipping all the stuff that they've kind of been back-ordered on since really March. If you follow some of the groups, you can see the guys saying, "Hey, I got my stuff. My starter set just arrived. My dude just arrived." So things are going out and they're shipping, and that's it's good news for all involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some good news for Jim as well.
Go for it, Cass.
Group, Plastic Soldier Company, Pacific War. They're bringing it, the book. So the first half of the book is set to be American and Japanese, the island conflicts, and the second half of the book is the British Army in Burma.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that not too long ago. That's awesome.
Element that a lot of people won't have stuff for. So more soldiers required.
I imagine Jim's got a Pacific Marine Army.
Yeah, several.
Shocker.
But yeah, I mean, Battle Group has it's definitely. I mean, people have already heard me say this. It's probably my favorite. It's straight out the best miniature World War II war game. At least as far at least for my money. I haven't seen the Pacific books yet. But if they're anything like any of their European or North African or Mediterranean books, then yeah, it's definitely going to be great.
Cool. I mean, in addition, Perry, they've sort of fleshed out. Not flushed out. If you flush out, it's not going to go very far. They're Napoleonic ranges with Swedish and British, so they're adding some more minis to those guys. We're seeing some new dragoons and such as well. So, they're always adding to those ranges, let's be honest. It's always interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah, they just added some Afghans,
too,
Have you
guys seen anything of the Vitrix 12mm stuff yet for World War II?
12mm?
It's an unusual in-between,
Why?
size, really. They've gone for 12mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I concur. That's unusual.
So, rant time. Oh. Why?
Well,
I mean, for the love of God, we already have 10mm, we have 15mm, we have 20mm, we have 28. Why bring in 12? Who plays 12? I don't get it.
Sorry, G.
No, go ahead.
The one I did see this week is Gringo 40 put out some stuff.
Yeah.
They're doing flamethrower teams for US Army, I think, and the NVA.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're doing flamethrower teams for the Vietnam sets.
Nice. And Chris, Chris Long, Chris here, one of the founders of the podcast, has been posting quite a bit of his Anzac and stuff for Vietnam. He is back in the fold, per se. He's kind of our social media guy. He's doing all the postings. So.
Yeah, he posts a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
he's
so
got some
he's
good stuff.
He might come on the podcast eventually, but right now he's happy posting stuff on the social media. So a lot of stuff you see posted on the Facebook page is from Chris. But yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff for Vietnam. And he joined us on the live stream on Thursday night. And he is definitely trying to get things in a place so he can be here in February as well. And he's going to bring all his Anzacs and VC and stuff. So the Vietnam table should look good. 12mm?
G can't let it go.
I'll try and get it out your head, G, with something kind of not ideal for historical.
Go ahead.
Just 47, the stuff coming out in September, new Mercenary Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of thoughts being involved.
Well,
bear in mind, 13 days equals 13 hours had one GRS with shorts, didn't it, Jim?
I don't know.
Still not seen
it.
Well, according to the movie, the guy was wearing shorts.
Well, we had the dude with shorts and rain boots, yeah, as one of the characters.
That's one of the GRS, the state guys. He was hanging out at the pool when they attacked.
In
the movie. Whether in real life that happened, I don't know. But in the movie, he had shorts on.
I would buy it.
I'm going to bring it back to the 12 mil because it's 12 mil tanks.
Why do you want to trigger him?
Vehicles.
Why?
I'm going to trigger G. It's tanks. I'm on that Brits website now.
Yeah.
There are no infantry and stuff. It's vehicles.
All the vehicles are 12 mil.
All the vehicles are 12 mil. So it's Panther, Stug, and Panzer IV, Sherman, and Cromwell are the 5 sets that they've got. You're getting 6 tanks in each box.
Okay, but again,
for what purpose?
Why? Jim, help me on this one. Do you know any rule or game system out there that is in 12 mil?
No.
I mean,
I'm not really a miniature guy.
I know, but you have a pretty extensive knowledge of gaming systems.
Are you expected to play the 12 mil stuff with, as a big 10 mil thing, or a little 15
and obviously
mil?
Just about any game system can be, scaled up or down, with some changes in ranges and stuff. I guess from a business aspect, what is the draw to do it in 12 mil? Because if nobody's playing anything in 12 mil, are you really expecting people to go out and drop a whole bunch of money on a scale that nobody plays? I don't know.
I think you should do a size comparison. Get the tanks out again.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's to do with scenery, as in 12 will slot in where you might be able to get away with both scales.
No, I guess that's
doubt
possible.
it.
But I don't know. It would be interesting to see what the philosophy behind. Hey, you know what? I don't like 10. I don't like 15. Let's do 12. So.
There's a lot of good 15 and 20 millimeter games out there. Rapid Fire, Chain of Command, obviously Flames of War, obviously Battle Group. And I don't know if this is true for everybody, but usually I will play in, when I'm doing miniatures, I will play in at least one scale level lower than the game suggests.
Okay.
So if it's a 20 millimeter game, I do it in 15. If it's a 15 millimeter game, I try and do it in 10. And maybe that's kind of what they're going for. Because we've had this discussion 101 times. But as far as, the table will look better. Like we've talked 100 times. We've never done it. But we've talked 100 times about doing Team Yankee in 6 mil. That would be epic. One of these days I'm going to have to finally go over to GHQ's website and actually start buying some stuff. I know it's mostly made for 10 mil, but I would love to play Northag. If they ever come out with Centag, come out with some Centag stuff and do that in 6 mil. Use old GHQ miniatures for a Centag type of game. So maybe they're thinking, well, here's another choice for maybe people who like Flames. There's a lot of 50 millimeter World War II players out there. There's a lot of 20 millimeter players out there. Maybe they're trying to just give them another option.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, so far it looks like they're all doing Western stuff. Like there's no T-34s in there, right? There's no JS2s, KV1s, KV-85s, JS. I mean, come on, you just left off 90% of World War II. I mean,
it's brand new out, Jim. I think they've just started the range, so this will be the first sets of tanks rolling off the production line, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, color me interested when we see some T-34 A's, C's, and T-34 85s. Maybe even some early war KVs. We'll see what happens on.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I guess only the future will tell. And, Jim, I heard a challenge in there that we haven't done the 6 mil Team Yankee or North Hag. That's a good... No, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. It sounds like that is a perfect time for the gaming weekend to have a 6 mil table. And then we can play it.
4x4 is a good size for it.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it's the right size.
You heard it here, folks. Yeah. February 19th through the 21st, the St Valentines Massacre Gaming Weekend. You will be able to play 6 mil North Hag or Team Yankee.
The other sort of bit that's sort of come out is on Tim's store for Footstore in North America. He's got the new versions of the Gaz Tiger and stuff, the GAZ, the Soviet modern troop transport.
The what?
The GAZ Tiger. It's the
Did you say Zed?
It's their version of like the Russian Humvee.
Did you say Zed? What's a Z?
G-A-Z.
What's a Z?
Z. I speak the Queen's English.
I think G's just trying to get back at you over the 12 mil stuff.
Yeah.
She's going to trigger you now.
Posted up his version of the Tiger M with the 4 turret variants, so you get 4 different turrets with it. And that's available to order.
Yeah, did Tim also release, what is it, the Semi with a turret on the back of it?
Yes. Did you see that thing?
Cougar, the 4M wrap, the 4x4M wrap. Yes, that's there as well.
So, yeah, he's got a semi-tractor with a flatbed, and they mounted a turret from
something.
T something or other?
Yeah, I don't remember what.
Yeah, it's a semi with a T55 turret.
Oh, is that a T55? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
And he's got the Cougar 4x4M wrap on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good looking model.
Tiger M.
So yeah, for the
Tiger M with the 30mm turret as well.
Yeah, he's still cranking out a lot of good modern stuff. We got to get him on the show. Speaking of getting on the show, we were going to have a guest today outside of Jesse, but we wanted to give him a fair shake, and we're going to schedule him for a couple weeks down the road for his rule set. And Ralph, you kind of started this process. You want to talk about it a little bit? Because I haven't had a chance to look at it deeply.
Yeah, what it is there's a small gaming company called Table Salt Games. They've done a couple of different things. They've done a superhero, very simplistic superhero combat system, not down the route of, say, the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, but you can use any miniatures with it. And the gentleman, and I'll just bring up the Facebook page here.
Robert Salter.
That's the one, Robert. Who's a veteran, has created a solo or cooperative modern miniatures rule set called Battle Space. It's $9 on Wargamer Vault, which I recommend anybody, if they're interested, go and get it. It's a self-contained game. There is a mission set that he's done as well, some additional missions that you can download, which are free for Memorial Day.
Yep.
I think it's called.
Yeah, it's the Memorial Day mission.
Yeah.
There's 3 missions in the book, and then there's that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's a very, 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 quick and easy doing game for doing moderns. I've had a quick scan of the rules. I haven't done a deep dive yet, but it doesn't need a lot of table space by the looks of it. It looks like the demo games and stuff on YouTube that are up there that Robert's done as well. Is it's a small table. It's probably a 2x2.
So we could do
3x3.
So we could do it on our demo board.
Yes.
Oh.
You could do it on the demo board quite easily.
It's a small model count.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, it's card-based dice, and not much in the way of there's a measure in there. It's one of the sort of things that you can print off, because it's all printable as well. So you print it off yourself, and you've got everything there. So you've got the SITREP cards, you've got the stat cards for the characters that he's done, which are Rangers, and it's based around having 4 operators. So you've got a low miniature count.
Okay.
So you could have, you as a player, 4 miniatures, or 2 you could take 2 each, or you could have 4 players working together.
So, and it's based on Rangers?
Cooperative thing.
So it's like a fire team?
Well, there's a mix of Rangers and Special Forces guys as the good dudes. When you look at the character cards, and then you run what do you say, Ralph? I want to say it was like 10 to 16 bad guys.
Yeah, it's a really low. You're probably talking the maximum about 20 miniatures, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
In total, that includes your, the Op 4 as well as the Special Forces stroke professional soldiers and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I reached out on the forums to them and saying if anybody had done any work or done any like homemade rules for creating stats.
Yep.
Because you get set characters, but the good thing about a lot of things is you want to be able to say create your own force. So say from my point of view, I might want to do it with Brits instead of using American forces.
Yeah.
I might want to do a 4-man SAS team doing something. So you want to have that ability of creating stats for your characters and then.
So does it
working
have to
on
be
that.
special operations, or can you use
No.
standard infantry as well?
You could use standard infantry as well. It's just in the rule set that he's done.
Okay.
The operators that are in
Well,
there.
because I have all
either
those
Delta
Canadian guys
Rangers.
painted up, and I thought we could use the Canadians. You know.
Yeah, you could do that.
From Full Battle Rattle, our friend Alex, since they're already painted up and on that board.
And that would throw Chris Long to no end to have
Right.
Canadians on the board.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, you wanted to use Canadian
But
models, you could just say
it's
they were
really down to looking at stat
TF2.
cards and coming up with.
Yeah.
So if you look at the stat cards, you might say that these probably fall under the same stat range as the Rangers that he's done. So you might just use the Ranger stat cards as the
You'd have to go.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and with all of the three of us sitting here at the table, Rangers are specialized in taking airfields and larger objectives and holding them until relieved by the standard infantry, right? The 101st, they're air assault. They're meant to come in by helicopter, take an area, and hold it until relieved by the 1st Infantry Division. The 82nd, parachute behind enemy lines, hold an objective until relieved by standard infantry or units. SF, the actual Green Berets, is a 12-man team that goes behind enemy lines and teaches a country, some faction within a country, how to survive and fight a war.
Well, internal defense is only one of the missions.
Right.
The
I mean, they have
SF.
other ones. Counterterrorism, internal defense.
Yeah, coin.
You know, they do a lot of different things.
I
But,
mean,
their traditional role, the way they were created, a 12-man A-team was originally created to do internal defense. That was what they were trained to do. Obviously you have Delta now and all this other stuff. But my point is, it would be nice to have, Rangers. You can't do Rangers and the 101st on the same level. There's a higher level of training for Rangers than there is 101st. It's not better or worse. It's just they're at a higher tempo and, training level.
Different missions.
Yeah, so to use Ranger cards, and it's nothing against you, Ralph. It's just, I just want people to understand when you're playing a game like this, if you're going to use, say, 101st guys or Canadian, I don't even think they have paratroopers anymore. They disbanded their airborne regiment. They did some really bad things, I heard. Anyways, but
well, that's because here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this. Airborne's an outdated
concept.
No!
See, the
Just
thing
saying.
I'm getting at is the way the rule set's been,
Yeah.
the soldier cards have been written up, yeah, see? So it's not so much these
Son
guys
of
are
a-
better or worse or better
So-
trained or whatever. It's just on the unit cards that have been done, that's how they've been done, yeah? So it's
Yeah.
not like, say, Spectre, where you can pick your, in the Spectre as a game, or even in Sanguine with the Special Law.
Yeah,
The Special Forces.
but Sanguine has rules for
platoon.
standard infantry too, so you can do Australian
Yeah.
infantry or British Army,
they've-
not SAS type.
Yeah.
So I'm
Same
sorry,
with
Marty.
Spectre,
What
you've
was
got
that about
different
Airborne?
levels.
It's an
one?
outdated concept.
You don't scare me!
Mother
So
Tucker.
it's just in the rule set how they've been set up, So as a test,
Yeah.
see, as a quick, that'll be something, that's fine. I think going down the line, the community seems very active, and I think that'll be the thing that the community probably look at doing themselves, maybe as a way of creating, that different level.
Yeah.
So you can have, say, professional soldiers just doing a secure the area,
Yeah.
right the way through to doing special forces barging into a plane. This rule set would probably work great for that, especially if you're doing cooperative, especially if you've got 4 players, because then you've got your 4 players who
Yeah.
are communicating.
Yeah.
So you could do as a game idea, maybe you could plan beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that whole planning bit beforehand,
Issue
having like a
an app
version of
order.
the plane saying, I'm going to attack there, I'm going to attack there, I'm going to attack there. And then when you move to the board, that's when things can go tits up.
Yeah,
Just
it
like
turns
real
out
life.
the enemy gets a vote.
Just like real life. Things don't always go as you plan.
Has anyone is the irony lost upon anyone that in order to defend the status and honor of the airborne, G had to use a soundbite from a U.S. Marine? Or was that just me? I'm having a hard time hearing what's going on up there. I'm pretty sure that was a Marine.
It was a Marine. It was a Marine. And God,
Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
Rest in peace.
I will
but
teach you.
to be fair, I went to jump school with Marines.
Getting
so
back to it, Robert's system. I mean, if nothing else, I think anything we do as a community, whether it be here at SITREP or other things, is supporting a small gaming company.
Most definitely.
A one-man publishing.
Publisher. And that game is brand new. I mean, it came out last month.
Oh, is it that new?
Yeah.
Oh,
it is brand really spanking new.
Oh,
so there's plenty of room for expansion as Robert gets feedback from the community. There's many games have done in the past. Say,
okay. So, Ralph, I just had a brilliant thought. I need another graphic, bud, for a new show. We're going to call it Basic Training, and it's to take a brand new rule set and do a demo of it. Not a full game, but a demo. We'll call it Basic Training. How to play.
Yeah, let's.
So, this
kind
rule
of a
set?
let's play on some of these smaller companies' brand new games and whatnot.
And then we can bring in people like...
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
So, we can do those kind of things. So...
Is that an extension of CQB, or is this just going to replace CQB?
I think it will replace it. I think Basic Training would be... This is how you get started in the game, yeah?
Yeah.
So...
It's an intro to the game.
We never did anything with CQB anyway, did we really?
We've tried a little bit.
Every single Sunday.
No. You're doing fine, Jim, on Sundays, CQBing Sundays. I'm just saying, okay, here's a brand new rule set. How do we play it? How do you get started? Type thing. It's just an idea. I'm spitballing. So, just an idea. Speaking of gaming on Sundays, Jim, have you played Iron Men and Wooden Ships, or Wooden Ships and Iron Men?
No.
Do you have the game?
I know what you're talking about, but no.
Okay. Well, because with all this pirate talk and stuff, it might be interesting to give that game a shot, and I'd be happy to play it with you. I have the Commodore 64 version. Stop.
See, that's what it is. That's what this was going. She just wanted to work in that she's got this computer from when she was 6, and that she plays games on it.
I was a little older than that.
Okay,
but anyway.
Then we might be talking about a different game. I thought we were talking about the old Avalon Hill game.
Yeah, they have a computerized version of it that was available on the Commodore 64.
Yeah, all 8 bits of it.
So?
All 8 bits of glory.
But I'm just thinking, to kind of get the juices flowing, that might be an interesting gateway. Or if you have a better game, you think, I'm ready for a Sunday war game. So
I think that's a hint for you, Jim.
No. I'm not trying to put extra work on. I'm just saying that I'm ready to,
play.
Let's play a game on a Sunday. So, just whatever you're open for. I was just throwing out ideas. If you're looking for something new.
Well, that was a resounding show of support.
So, does anybody have anything else for the show this week?
So another bit of news, and I posted this on our Facebook page yesterday, is the Historical Miniature Gaming Society, as we know, canceled all of their in-person conventions this year. So no Historicon, no Fall In, none of that stuff. They announced yesterday that they are going to do a virtual convention, and I believe it's July 21st and 2nd.
That'll be about the time the Historicon was scheduled. Okay, so can somebody explain to me how that works? How does a virtual convention work, honestly?
So back to our Discord server thing. Not specific. Here's my experience with it. So I subscribe to a podcast called Paint All the Minis. Dan Adams, you're my guy.
Hey, Gaz, you hear this? Do you hear this?
No.
Hey, he's done a crap ton of podcasts, and he's a really good fellow. So I highly recommend it. It's miniatures agnostic. It's just painting. It's not directly gaming stuff. Although he talks to a ton of game developers and whatnot. But they did one in April, and they did it on their they created a Discord server and did it on Discord. They had games that they were streaming live that they were playing. They had interviews that they did. I think they did 10 live interviews over the course of 2.5 days. Plus, they had manufacturers that were running their own rooms and channels on the server. So, game designers and companies that produce the games, were hosting it. They had painting tutorials, all sorts of stuff. So, as well as they had a virtual flea market vendor exhibition hall kind of thing where they partnered up with various companies to offer discounts on their products and whatnot, showcase some of those things. So, is it the same experience? Of course not. But is something better than nothing? I think so.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's still.
I'm not sure exactly what these guys are looking to do. We'll find out. In about 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. So yeah, I mean that seems to be the wave of things this year. Unfortunately, is virtual conventions. Gen Con's going to do a virtual Gen Con, which. Okay. I mean, part of the experience of Gen Con is going to Gen Con, and obviously you can't do that. So, I mean, doing it on a computer, you're not going to have anywhere near the attendance, because you're not going to be able to play anything. You're not going to be able to demo anything. You're not going to be able to shop unless you're going to, online shop, but you can do that any day anyways.
Yeah. I mean, that, there were some, companies that were there were offering, a special if you were doing it, so convention pricing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Again, it's obviously not going to be the same experience, but maybe it scratches that itch a little bit.
Yeah.
As well as like for the HMGS guys, that's their annual membership drive.
Yeah.
So that's a chance for them to renew memberships, bring in new members, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just kind of hanging out there in the breeze. And again, I get it. Something's better than nothing. At least they get an opportunity to showcase some of their stuff to their community.
Yep. So, well, I'll have to see. So, guys, make sure you check out the virtual conventions that are going to be happening, Historicon virtually. I was really looking forward to going this year just because I wanted to check out that flea market or reseller that Jim was talking about, where they have all kinds of, I guess he found some games still in the wrapper, like Avalon Hill games and stuff. And
dude had a lot of classic stuff.
Yeah, so I really wanted to.
Wally's Basement, if I may be getting that wrong. They have a lot of stuff down there. Some people don't know what they have, and they're selling it for way too cheap. Some people know exactly what they have, and then they add 50% on top of that. So, kind of enter at your own risk as far as, buying stuff. But, we bought box sets of Panzer Leader and shipped them out to members of our community. Bought some stuff to flesh out the rest of my 50mm Vietnam collection. I found a really nice, I think it's an M42 Duster, light anti-aircraft vehicle that the Army was still clunking around with back in the 60s. That'll make a mess of some NVA infantry in a hurry.
Oh, yeah?
What
was the weapon on that?
Automatic cannon, leveled, and just open fire with HE frag. That's going to make a mess.
So it's a artillery piece?
It's a light anti-aircraft tank.
Okay.
They took like an old M47 and they kind of took it apart. I think it was an M41 Walker Bulldog, and they removed the turret. They replaced it with an open turret with like two of those old World War II Bofors guns.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, and it's supposed to shoot down helicopters and low-flying Soviet aircraft. But of course in Vietnam they was usually used in a infantry suppression role.
Oh.
When they had them. This is not exactly a very common vehicle, but it was interesting. You had a lot of little stuff down there. Yeah. Fully painted Bundeswehr Team Yankee Army, complete with the helicopters, the Martyrs, the Leopard 2s, dozens of it, maybe up to 100 infantry. I can't remember what he had. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, professionally painted, buy my stuff on eBay," and it looks like the Incredible Hulk, fuck the Swamp Thing. You know, but this guy's painting was really good.
Tag that for
the
later.
price tag. Yeah, he wanted $850 for it. I'm not going to say that was an unfair price, but I was like, oh, damn, that's, you know, way too much money.
Yeah.
Because it was a huge army, and it really was very well done. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff down there on all ends. I bought there's stuff down there for $1. There's stuff in there for $1,000 and everything in between. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was Wally's basement. It's somebody's basement. Let me call it that. It was somebody's basement down there at the bottom of the convention. Yeah, the one cool thing about it was that no vendors were allowed down there because they had a vendors hall where you could buy all the vendor stuff.
Yeah.
Up on the main floor, but then down literally in the basement of the hotel was where you could buy stuff that, again, you weren't allowed to be like an official vendor, but as far as like you just had some stuff in your basement or in your closet or in your storage unit, you wanted to get rid of it or you wanted to pass it on to somebody. I got an old copy of GDW's Assault from like 1983. Never opened it. I have no players for it. I know I'll never play it. I just remember that from the 1980s when I was, you know, a strapping young lad of 16. So I just put it there on my shelf, and whenever I'm having a bad day, I just look at it, and it makes me feel a little better.
There you go.
Small price to pay, $30.
Yeah.
You know, little stuff like that. It was a neat part of the convention. A little more, you know, grassroots kind of a thing. And then of course, you know, upstairs in the vendors hall, they had the actual vendors. I can't remember what half of them were. That's where Radio Dish Dash was. And a lot of their Sanguine stuff. They had that plausible deniability game going up there. We had the Ultra Combat Normandy. I actually got to participate in a demo game on that. That's all in the vendors hall. But yeah, the fun part was downstairs in the flea market basement. It was a lot of fun.
And that's a nice thing. Adepticon has that as well. They have that bits vendor outside. And they do have a trader where, you know, you can bring your old stuff, and they have a certain night where they open that up.
It's like a swap night,
Yeah, it's like a flea market, if you will. But they have that bits trader up front that has all kinds of stuff, you know.
Bins and bins and bins of just parts.
But you can find some good stuff. But their prices can be a little steep. But, you know, if you go to the trader night, the bits night, you can find some really good stuff. And that's what I was looking forward to at Historicon, was being able to go down into that basement and just look through stuff and see what hidden gems you can find.
Right.
So, you know, because I'm an avid Avalon Hill collector, so I, you know, like to get those things. And, I mean, I like the retro stuff. I mean, obviously I have a Commodore 64, but, you know.
Again, has to work it in.
Stop. So, but
sorry,
yeah.
What was that? What was that computer again, G? I
Commodore
that, you know,
64 and a 128, and I'm now shopping for an Amiga 4000. So
games were better back then.
Right? So
they really were.
You know, that's where we're at with that. But you know, I'm really looking forward to getting some serious gaming done. You know, things have kind of started. Oops. Sorry, guys. Cut me off from drinking. Cut me off from drinking. We just been hit.
Over caffeinated.
Incoming.
Stop chewing on the mic there.
Sorry, guys. I totally just knocked the mic over. But you know, now that I hate to say it because people are seeing resurgence in COVID, but you know, things have kind of slowed down by us, so I can start concentrating more on some hobbying, if you will. You know, so it'll be nice, you know, to actually get some gameplay in and do that kind of stuff. So, Jim, whenever you're ready and you need a player, I am all for Sunday gaming. So, you know, just shoot me a message or give me a holler and let me know when you need a player, and I'm all there for whatever game you want to play. So, you know, I will learn it and get up to speed so we can play right away. So, yeah.
Cool.
So, other than that, Jess, do you have anything you look at?
When does the poll finish?
Tonight. Today's the 28th of the time of recording, so tonight we'll close it out and we'll announce tonight. So, I would say...
Are we going to select the forces ourselves, or is that going to be a poll as well?
Oh, what do you think, guys? What should we do?
Depends if you want to be historical, I suppose. As in, you want to set battle or engagement or meeting, because then you'd know what the sides were.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let's want more of a general flavor.
Well,
I think the polls were more or less like a general theme.
It is.
It's not like
it's just a theme.
Project
yeah.
or
I was gonna say, I think we picked the project or gaming system.
You know, it's going to be, no offense to anybody, it's going to be our money.
Well, I mean, outside of the expense of it, I mean, if we have an idea where we want to go with it within that genre or time period, I think we're
the ones that are going to have to build the boards and all that
exactly.
stuff. So
and you know, with everybody,
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut off.
No.
It sounds like Pirates are going to win. But Old West might pull it out at the end there, but okay, let's just say it's Pirates. Okay, cool. Like we were saying before, okay, then that means in the future months we're going to have some content either on Blood and Plunder, Oak and Iron, Wooden Ships, Iron Men / with Letters of Mark or whatever. It's like a general theme of 1675 to 1925, Age of Sail type material. That we're going to have on podcasts, that we're going to have on live gaming, that we're going to have on Discord, and platforms like that.
Yep.
I don't think it's not like a 13 days to 13 hours specific project, or the Waterloo 200th or 205th anniversary. Specific battle, specific day. Here's what was there at 6 a.m. in the morning. It's going to be more of a general theme kind of thing. It's what I was picturing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think that's right. That's where my brain was.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That the polls were general themes, and then we can then step into anything we want within that. So, say for example, Pirates wins, but say for example Wild West won, we could look at the battles of Little Big Horn, things like that. But we could also look at doing something with the old Games Workshop Legends of the Old West, the OK Corral, Jesse James, those type of things, going right the way through to something silly like booting up an old version of the Oregon Trail on a PC and playing that.
You've died of dysentery.
Or Mad Dog McCree.
More smallpox.
Yeah, we could do Mad Dog McCree. Remember that one?
That scope.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
let's get scope in a little bit of a box, because we were talking about Pirates last episode. Before we knew it, we had Crockett and Tubbs. I was like, okay, I guess it's sort of illegal operations on the high seas. Like, sort of call it piracy. But when the people were voting for it,
I think they were thinking,
our community, I'm not sure that's what they were talking about.
No, I know.
But we totally got to do Miami Vice.
Oh, I'm telling you. That would be awesome.
No matter what anybody says.
That is awesome. It's historical.
Maybe that's the 9th board at the game.
It is. It's Team Yankee, the Western Front.
Right?
West Front.
The East Coast of Florida. It is historical. The drug war.
It could be the Gulf War. It's just the Gulf of Mexico.
It's a bit of a stretch.
Oh, what stretch? Is it not called the drug war? Did the DEA and Ronald Reagan declare the drug war?
There was a czar and everything.
Exactly.
If you go down, not to get too serious, but if you go down to Colombia in the 80s, you have a three-way civil war. You've got the cartels, you've got the government, and you've got the leftist FARC guerrillas.
Yep.
So, you could game down there for decades. And, it definitely fits within SITREP. It's modern, it's historical, it's, asymmetrical operations. It's everything SITREP's about. I just don't know if it's piracy, was the only point I was trying to make.
No, I got you.
In a broader sense, it totally fits into SITREP.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could totally do something on the cartels and drug war. I remember at Fort Bragg in the mid-'80s, DEA was there recruiting guys out of, the SF and stuff to go down to Colombia to advise, so...
Yes, like I advise you to stop, or I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Right. Watch Narcos on Netflix.
Oh, that's a good show. It's a good show.
Watch Narcos on Netflix.
By the time,
because I've just done
the second season ended, when what's his name got wasted on the rooftop. The hell's his name? Yeah, I kind of felt sorry for him. They made it to the point where you started feeling sorry for him at the end. You knew he was a ruthless bastard, but just the way the show ended it was like he was this awesome dude, and then he dies on a rooftop, so it just shows you crime really does not pay in the end. So
And then you've got the sequel to it, which is Mexico.
I haven't watched that one a lot. I don't know. For some reason, I can't get into it because it's all new agents and stuff. So, anyway, yeah. So, guys, look for our gaming weekend. I'll have announcements out. You know, by the time you hear this podcast, it'll already be out. We'll be promoting it on all the pages and channels and Discords and Twitter, Twitch, Tweety, whatever. And we'll go from there. So, yeah, it looks like Pirates might win. Damn Pirates. They always beat the Cubs, too. So
who?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
No, what was that other team?
The Cubs.
Are they new? Is that a high school team? What?
Hey, you know, they finally got another win. It was about 5 years ago, but still.
You know, at least we don't have to worry about them having 60 losses this year.
That's right. They only got 60 games to play this year.
I'm figuring they're going to pull off
at least
couple
one.
of wins.
Yeah.
Less than a quarter, but, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a baseball humor for you people who don't know what we're talking about. But, yeah. So for the crew here at the SITREP and our over-talkative Jesse, thank you for joining us today. Anybody have any last-minute comments before we close out the show?
No.
Boy, you guys have bundle of energy. I know this was an impromptu broadcast because our normal recording session would have been the following weekend, but that's July 4th. And us rebels, insurgents, whatever you want to call us, freedom fighters, we have to celebrate our win over the great empire. So, you know, all that tea we dumped into the Boston Harbor.
I'm being oppressed. I'm being oppressed.
Yeah. So
Gaz would be just devastated. All that tea going to waste.
Right?
If I'd have been there and they'd have done that, we wouldn't have lost. when I get the Apaches in, I don't think you'd have been.
Hey,
no, it's looking forward to some more. We've been talking about a bit of UK versus USA as well, a bit of in-house camaraderie, but some competitive stuff as well. So maybe that'll feature at the weekend. Maybe a one-off game for a small trophy or something. A bit of fun.
We'll have to 3D print a trophy. The
Yeah,
SITREP Cup.
Gaz, we've had 2 live games successfully play tested of Battlefield Revolution with LSR 2590, my friend Dylan over there in Brisbane, Australia. So if you ever want to, hoist the King's colours.
Yeah, I remember the British were coming from the north, if I remember right.
Who won those games?
Played that game. I remember they stood tall, and it was closer than you thought by the end as well. It was a really good session.
But who won?
Well, we had a couple sessions. Yeah, and they've come down to pretty close. But the kinks are worked out. So if one of these days somebody wants to take a swing at, I know G just asked to game on Sunday. I'm not trying to disrespect G at all. But as far as the whole American Revolution thing, it's always fun. I get to do this more often than I thought. It's always fun when I can get a British player to play the British, and then we play the Americans.
There you
before you know it, the game gets oddly intense. Thing gets going.
Weird.
Let's do it. Let's pick a
die and run rebel scum, and
let's do it, Jim. Let's plan a weekend, and Gaz, you're on. Whether Jim plays you and I, we'll do commentary. We'll have a color commentary.
Oh, no, it's not fair to have if we're going to do it this way, it's not fair to have the designer play the game. I say we have G's Rebels versus Gaz's Redcoats.
And then Jim and Marty can do color commentary.
Oh, yeah.
And we can have Ralph do the British commentary. Yes, that gentleman over there. And we'll be like, skin him alive!
The worst American Revolution movie in history. The absolute
Don't you say The Patriot.
Garbage. It's The Patriot. It's got one good line in it. It's got one good line. It's when Cornwallis wins the Battle of Camden.
Yeah.
And he's kind of looking with his little spyglass. He's like, these rustics are so inept. It nearly takes the honor out of victory. He looks over at his brigadier general. He's like, nearly. Best line of that movie. You can find a sound clip of it on YouTube.
I'll put it on the soundboard for our next recording.
Watch that 5 seconds and then turn the rest of the movie off.
Oh, come on. I love the scene where he goes totally apeshit and goes with his knife and his tomahawk and just cleans house.
Yeah, murdering everybody with a hatchet.
Right. You don't like that scene, Jim? No?
It's just not historically accurate. But
it's very Americanized. What can I say?
Well,
that movie is garbage.
I kind of like it.
They literally lose track of 2 years of the American Revolution. They go from 1776 to 1781, and then Gabriel writes a letter. 2 years have passed. Like, you literally can't count to 5 at this point.
Let's not call the issue with facts.
Swamp, Jim. It was all the time in the swamp.
Oh, speaking of the swamp, how about the swamp fox?
South Carolina for 4 years. I'm not going to defend South Carolina. Sorry to any of our viewers in South Carolina, but I'm not gonna, you're not going to corner me into that defense. I'm not going to defend the Patriots. I'm not going to defend South Carolina.
That's awkward because our upcoming guest is from South Carolina.
So what are your thoughts on the swamp fox, Jim?
I don't think very much of him at all.
Yeah.
I think he's a terrible human being. He's one of the true monsters. I don't know why he's so heroified. Here's how bad it is. Randall Wallace and the other schmucks who were making that movie, the original script for the Patriot had Benjamin Martin, the fictional character, played by God, I'm totally spacing on his name now. Mel Gibson. Thank you. Oh my God, that was weird. The main character of that movie was in the original scripts was supposed to be Francis Marion, and I think they got about halfway through the script and they realized, we really can't make a movie about this guy. Let's go ahead and just make it a fictional character. Let's just go ahead and punt. Because even those guys, I mean, these are the people who made Braveheart, for crying out loud. I mean, there's another train wreck of a movie.
I want my freedom.
No, I'm serious. I'm just from a historical perspective. But I mean, Braveheart's a fun movie, but The Patriot is like a double threat. It's historically bad and it's a bad movie. It actually started some court cases. The people that are actually related to Bannister Tarleton actually took them to court about our ancestor that way. They changed it to William Cavington, and they thought they could get away with it. This is the main villain of the movie. He is supposedly based on a real-life British lieutenant colonel called Lieutenant Colonel Bannister Tarleton. And he was sort of responsible for the Waxhaws Massacre or whatever, but again, the American Revolution in the South was pretty ugly. But as far as Francis Marion goes, I mean, even these guys, these clowns, Randall Wallace, this is the guy who did Pearl Harbor, for crying out loud.
That terrible movie.
The guy who did Braveheart. Halfway through the script, probably, we have to kind of step back from this whole Francis Marion thing. We're not going to do it. And that's when he became quote unquote Benjamin Martin, whatever that's supposed to be. So, Francis Marion, not a fan, to end the situation quickly.
Gotcha.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
If you admire him, don't read anything more about him, because trust me, it's downhill from here.
Gotcha. Okay, well, on that happy note. So we're going to do, the U.S. is going to fight for their independence again for the SITREP Cup. Yes,
I like this. I like the concept of the SITREP Cup.
So I will find a file and I will 3D print us a cup. And the winning country team member will house it for, what, we can do it once a year?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think so.
Or once every 6 months, whatever we decide?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You might as well make it a cup of tea then.
Oh, no.
Just a box.
We were going to call it America's Cup, but that one's already taken.
Yeah.
There's copyright on that. Trademark, copyright, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but you call it the America's Cup, you're already kind of biasing the game. I mean, when Battlefield Revolution, when I was first writing it, I was calling it Sons of Liberty. And the exact same two problems. Number one, there's already a bunch of war games called Sons of Liberty. And number two, when you call your American Revolution game Sons of Liberty, are you kind of already giving away a lot of bias there? You're admitting to a lot of, maybe you shouldn't do that. So, yeah, we're going to have to make, now this, if we're going to have this game, we can totally do it. It's just going to have to, for the historical people in the audience, it's going to have to be like a scrimmage game.
Okay.
Historical, sort of a theoretical game, because we want it to be, if it's going to be like truly competitive, then we got to make it kind of balanced.
Of course.
And very few battles in the American Revolution were balanced.
We're balanced. Yeah. So, Jim, you kind of think about a Sunday you want to do this, and we'll start promoting it, and then, we'll plan on, we'll get Ralph to do some graphic, or if you have a graphic in mind that you want to do, however you guys want to do that, and we'll set it up so we're playing, and then we'll have some commentary at the same time, make it very entertaining, and it will be a warning to children.
Probably.
Yeah.
Not safe for YouTube. Not safe for children on the YouTube channel. You click the little button.
Oh, and better yet,
not for kids.
And better yet, not only will the winner get the SITREP Cup, but the loser will have to drink. So if the Americans win, Gaz will have to drink a glass of sweet tea.
Ooh.
And if the British win, I'll have to drink.
Gaz, I'll give you plenty of grenadiers. Don't worry about it.
And then I guess I'll have to drink some kind of brew.
Those are the best British infantry in the game. Don't worry, you'll have plenty.
Jim, I'll be sending you lots of nice things through the post.
Speaking of the America's Cup, though, he may not want to call it the America's Cup because America doesn't actually have the America's Cup at the moment. It's in New Zealand.
Is it? I thought we got it back.
Yeah. No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well.
No, with New Zealand.
Okay, well, it happens. We got to let the rest of the world win once in a great while.
I don't think we send Gaz sweet tea. I think we send him Malort.
Malort? No, he doesn't drink. So
yeah.
So it's going to have to be sweet tea.
I'll drink whatever you put in front of me.
Eat sweet tea.
I shouldn't have said that.
Which is weird.
You just said it on the internet now. 2 girls, 1 Gaz, the video. Oh, no.
All right. So here, you heard it here, folks. We're going to have the re-battle, re-fought, re-war, re-something. Repeat.
Winner takes all.
Winner takes all of the SITREP Cup. Jim's going to pick a battle, game system, and we're going to play it. And the winner gets bragging rights, the SITREP Cup, and the other one has to drink some nasty drink.
We need to find.
Oh yeah, the whole point is Battlefield Revolution.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole US angle.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah,
Battlefield Revolution.
And we need to find a trophy cup that is appropriately gaudy.
Exactly. Somebody on there's got to be an STL file for it.
I'm sure.
If not, I'll try and create one. So it should be like a Minuteman standing on a Cornwallis's head or something, right?
Oh, see, I was thinking it should be like like a British commander, and then it's like a Stein. So you flip the little button and his head opens, and then you drink from his skull.
Oh, no. Wow. I told you to get some
all over again.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I'm good for something.
All right. All right. Well, we'll find the appropriate trophy.
Or the inappropriate trophy at this rate.
So, yeah, you guys heard it here. We're going to have it. The Yanks versus the Brits. Bragging rights and trophies. This is going to be epic. All right.
Yes.
This will be a great show. There'll be trash talking. And
oh, yeah.
Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. All right, guys.
In all seriousness, I'll make sure the game is bounced. It's up to you guys who wins or loses.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
As you wish.
Whatever works. All right, guys. With that, we're going to close out the show. So just quick reminder, this will air after the 4th of July weekend. So we want to wish everybody who celebrates the 4th of July, happy 4th of July. Be safe. Don't blow off any fingers with your fireworks. And to the Brits, we're sorry. And maybe next time. And we will look forward to our bragging rights of taking home the cup again. And also, be on the lookout for information for our gaming weekend. We'll have the final cost and all the details. And make sure you reach out to either Jim or myself, depending on the platform you communicate with. And let us know who's coming, because it's going to be a grand time.
And if you want to host a table,
Right.
by all means, please reach out. The concept of having our community members be involved and engaged is just a great opportunity, and I think that would be cool because, as Jim said earlier, there's a lot of tables and there's not that many of us.
Yeah.
So if you've got a favorite game that falls into one of those categories that we put out last time, by all means, jump on board, let us know, and we'll see what we can put together.
And last but not least, I'm up for the challenge, Jim, of World War 2.5 that you said I was not ready for. So,
Oh, okay. Have you done much operational level gaming?
nope, not at all.
What? That's what World War 2.5 was designed for. It was designed to introduce that concept. So,
How hard can it be? You move an army here, you move a supply there. How hard can it be?
that game isn't very hard, in all seriousness.
I mean, it's
I was kidding around
logistics.
last week, but in all seriousness, it was made so that you could download a PDF, print it out, play it, and actually kind of get the hang of it.
No, I got to watch you guys play it a little bit when you brought it over to Ireland, and I didn't get a chance to play. So I would really like a shot at it. So.
We're talking about at the Team Yankee
Yep,
weekend?
Team Yankee boot camp. Yep.
That was a fun game.
Yeah.
all respect to Battlefront and all respect to On Tabletop, that I wasn't even in the game. I was just kind of running it. That World War 2.5 game was my favorite part of that weekend.
And if I remember correctly,
all 4 players were so. I mean, it was. I won't get into it. It was Rasmus, Commodore Rob, Gilliam, and
Ben, right?
Andrew.
Andrew, yep. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, the 82nd Airborne actually had quite a impact in that game. Didn't they take?
Yeah, there's 5.
Airborne is dead, huh?
In the game.
Yes, that's World War II.
Airborne for the British, obviously. 101st, 82nd for the Americans, and the Soviets have 2. So there's 5 total, and they are they always come in and turn 5 for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because they drop and steal objective X's when no one's looking. That was Bruce's big move. Boy, Commodore Rob was hot. But that's not legal. Actually, it is. But yeah, the Warsaw Pact did still win this game, so maybe it'll turn out different next time.
Okay, sounds good. All right, guys, so I'll be on the lookout for all that information in our upcoming shows. And until the next show, we will see you all later. Take care.